Steve McQueen, Muhammad Ali, Paul Newman, Alain Delon, Bruce Lee, Martin Luther King Jr., Ernest Hemingway, and Sean Connery. So what do all these guys have in common? Every single one of these guys oozes classic masculinity. Now recently it seems like certain people have an issue with the word masculinity. They do this by combining it with the word toxic. But from the way I see it, what they're describing isn't masculinity at all. No, in my opinion, classic masculinity embodies the characteristics of strength, confidence, resilience, integrity, and a sense of duty. So the first step in unlocking your classic masculinity is to develop confidence through competence. I'll tell you, there are a few things in life that build confidence, like actually having a skill set that people seek out. When you have expertise in something, especially if it solves a problem, if it is valuable to society, those are skills that pay the bills. Now, I get it. When you're young, just starting out, or if you're changing careers, this can feel like a catch-22. You want to get the skills, but you also got to pay the bills. And so how do you become competent in something to be able to build up confidence that is going to release your classic masculinity? Well, for me, I was fortunate to be in a large organization, the Marine Corps, that actually had a leadership program that worked on developing those skills to then give you the confidence. And if you're working for a large company that maybe has a path like that, that is a great way. If you're working for a smaller company, perhaps you can find a mentor in that business that can take you under his wing and show you the ropes and help you develop certain skills that are valuable. Now, if none of those options are available, you're going to have to do this yourself, which may sound intimidating, but it's not as difficult as it sounds. The key here is to niche down, to get specific. Let's say you're in finance. Instead of trying to master everything in finance and being a generalist, how about you specialize down in building out spreadsheets, discounted cash flows? You know how to build those things like the back of your hand. Yes, I was an MBA student. I remember these Excel jockeys just being able to understand this stuff, and we were in awe of what these guys could do. But the reality is specific skill sets within a larger niche are actually relatively easy to pick up, sometimes within a matter of months. Why is this important? Because when your boss's boss asks for you to be at the presentation because you understand the details, you can get into the nitty-gritty, all of a sudden you notice, hey, I'm getting seen. I'm on my way up. Your confidence starts to shoot through the roof, and it affects everything. Confidence is the base of classic masculinity. And any man, no matter how young or how old, when he feels valued, when he knows his contribution makes a difference, all of a sudden he's able to walk into a room a little bit taller. Those shoulders straighten up. He feels better about himself, and other people notice. Now, today's video, gents, is sponsored by my friends over at Ritual. Gents, for years, I've been using their multivitamins and probiotics. Because let's face it, gents, a lot of us aren't getting the nutrients we need in the food we eat. And that's why I love Ritual's Essentials for Men. It contains 10 key nutrients that men need and is 100% traceable. What that means is with Ritual, they're 100% transparent on where everything is made. And if you're taking care of your health, you probably know about the importance of taking care of your gut with a probiotic. And with Ritual Symbiotic Plus, you get one of the best probiotics on the market. The reason is that Symbiotic Plus is a 3-in-1 probiotic. So it's a prebiotic, a probiotic, and a postbiotic. So gents, if you're busy, if you're stressed, if you're dealing with digestive discomforts, you're going to want to check out Ritual Symbiotic Plus to be able to make sure that your gut is stable and healthy. So gents, if you're ready to try Ritual today and you want to get the best deal on the web, you guys know I got you covered. Go over to ritual.com. Make sure to use that code RMRS25 to save 25% off your first order. Lesson number 2 to unlock your classic masculinity: cultivate a thought-out style that creates the first impression you want people to have. Now, that was a bit of a mouthful, but in many ways it encompasses what this whole channel is about. You using style, you using your image as a tool to get what you want out of life. Now, really quick, I want to talk about one word in particular there: impression. And this is something a lot of people take for granted. They think, people will see past the fact that I'm not dressed well. They are going to see past the fact that I don't smell good, I don't take care of my nails. These things, believe me, people are human. They are petty. They pay attention to details they probably shouldn't, that don't matter. And the worst part about this is that people have huge egos and they want to believe that their first impressions were right. Now, this can be used to your advantage, or it can come to shoot you in the foot. The thing is, if you had no impression, you have a negative impression, people want to believe that there was a reason for it. Yeah, he just wasn't that interesting of a person. I could tell that was the kind of person I don't want to do business with. Now, this same flawed logic actually applies when you make a good first impression. Wow, that guy looks smart. He looked the part of a professional. When he walked in, there was just something about him. I want to learn more about this person. Now, you barely said anything, and what you said actually wasn't that smart, yet people have this impression, this belief that you are at a higher level than maybe you even are in real life. My point here is we've all heard the saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but people do this every day. It's a shortcut. We don't have time to make decisions about everything, so we fall to a bias. And those men I talked about earlier that embody classic masculinity, they all understood this. In fact, it's the musicians that probably understood it better than anyone. You look at Mick Jagger, you look at Jimi Hendrix. Hendrix in particular, this guy was a style god, and he used his image, he used presentation to his advantage to be able to set a tone, to be able to send a message. My point here is you don't need to wear a suit. You don't need to dress like Prince. But even if you've got a blue-collar job, you own, a lawn care company, consider a uniform for yourself, for your team, one that actually is functional, protects you from the elements, but also sends the signal that you are professionals. And guess what? You'll be able to charge more money. People are just going to view you as more competent, and you're going to be more memorable. Now, the next word I want to bring up is timeless. I like buying clothing that doesn't go out of style. This way you can spend a little bit more, get exactly what you want, and when you wear it, you don't have to worry that it's out of fashion. Now, to determine if a piece of clothing is actually timeless, I like to look at photos that are about 20 years or older and say, hey, if this guy walked out of the picture, would he be able to walk through New York City, maybe Chicago, down through Houston, and would he still look good? And that's what I love about all these style icons that I mentioned earlier. A lot of their photos, actually, these guys could walk right out and they would be in Los Angeles and they would just look like they're on a movie set or they're going out to dinner. Now, a few items that fall into every classic wardrobe is going to be a dark colored suit, maybe in navy or gray, a pair of classic Oxfords, or maybe you want something more casual like a pair of penny loafers. If that's too dressy for you, let's look at dark denim. Jeans have been around for over 150 years and in the last 50 have become a men's classic. Pair them with a blue button down in a variety of different shades. You're going to find it's going to work with pretty much any pair of denim. If you've got a great build, if it's warm outside, a black V-neck t-shirt. For footwear, you could go with those loafers or trade them out for a more casual pair of boots. Lace boots that can take a shine in black or brown, or maybe a pair of Chelseas or Chukkas in a suede. And for a more casual jacket, maybe look to a 4-pocket safari style or a classic leather racer or bomber style. Again, your choice here really depends on the message you want to send to the world, who you are, and what you represent. And of course, pay attention to your grooming. Make sure you got an appointment set with your barber at least once a month. And if you've been going to the same barber for a decade, consider cheating on him and go to the best stylist in town and see what else they can do with your hair. If you're a bearded man, make sure to take care of it. The difference between an urban beardsman and a bearded ruffian, turns out it's simply a couple days not trimming your beard or not using product. And speaking of product, find the right product for your hair. You want to keep it in place at the same time. You don't want it to look greasy unless that is the look you're going for, like a gel, or you want something maybe like a pomade. The key here is you have intention with the image you're projecting. The next key to unlocking your classic masculinity is to work on those interpersonal skills. This is your behavior. This is your habits, the way you are with other people. Now, a lot of people think that communication is the written or spoken word. Well, imagine if someone was running up to you and they were giving threatening gestures. They haven't spoken or written anything, yet you understand, hey, I need to get out of the way or defend myself. So obviously we know there is nonverbal communication. And believe me, most guys are oblivious to this. So if you can master interpersonal skills, all of a sudden you're going to be set apart from the crowd and your classic masculinity is going to unlock. Now, perhaps the easiest way to improve your interpersonal skills is just simply don't make stupid mistakes. Yeah, if you can simply not offend or gross out people with bad behavior, you are going to be above many. So the easiest way to know if you're doing something is to be aware of what the rules are. That's why I love etiquette books, videos like on my channel that break out the manners that maketh the man. Now, you may be wondering what's the difference between manners and etiquette. Etiquette are more societal rules and they change from country to country. Sometimes they make no sense at all. Manners, on the other hand, are pretty universal. And this is how you make people feel with your actions and gestures. And if you're short on time and have to choose to learn one or the other, always go with manners. Because seriously, if you eat your salad with your dessert fork, who cares? But if you have bad manners in conversation and you make your hostess feel like yeah, you are not going to get invited back. And in fact, if you're trying to do business with your company, you may lose out on $1 million deal. And of course, with interpersonal skills, we can't forget talking with people, engaging with them. The key here is practice with intentionality, looking at how people react when you engage with them and trying to get better, trying to find ways to improve the way that you talk and interact with those, especially those you don't know very well. And if I could summarize this in a sentence, I'd probably go with what Maya Angelou said. People will forget what you said, but they will never forget the way you made them feel. I know for me, I genuinely believe we're all here for a purpose. And I love to talk to people to learn about their kids, their families, what they've got going on in life. You can keep it small talk, but that's really what it is. And when people get to talk and you genuinely listen and ask questions, this is pretty rare. And all of a sudden they feel better about you and they feel more comfortable. I think a good example of this is David Beckham. You see the way he is around people. This is a guy that's constantly has people coming up to him. And it's hard to find stories out there of this guy not being accommodating. But yeah, if you can make it about them, let them talk, all of a sudden they're going to be more comfortable. You're going to be more comfortable and your classic masculinity is going to level up. All right, Jen, so what video to watch next? Boom, I've got you covered. We talked about etiquette. We talked about manners. Boom, you want to watch this one. You are going to love it. Oh yeah, you will. Boom, right there. Come on. Click there. Go check it out. Solid video. Oh yeah.